Hello friends, my name is Ben Seaman. I serve on staff at Rockingham Christian Church as our lead minister, and we are so excited that you are checking out our Starting Point class. Whether you've been here for one Sunday, a few weeks, or even a few months, we're so glad that you're stepping in and stepping on your journey here at RCC. And what I'd like to do is give you an overview of what the content of this video is going to be about. We're going to talk about the mission of our church, of RCC. We'll talk about our discipleship path and why we're a pathway church versus an event-driven church. We'll talk about our values and also give you an opportunity to take a next step. Our mission at RCC, our white hot passion, what we care about and what we love is simply this. We exist to invite people to journey with Jesus. We believe that faith is an invitation that you and I can accept, reject, or walk away from. But at the end of the day, it's up to us if we want to follow Jesus. After all, Jesus looks at us and says, "Will you come and follow me?" And what I'd like to do is talk about actually word for word and explore with you why we chose these words. First of all, inviting. As I said before, faith in life is an invitation. It is not our heart to drop the hammer on you, to twist your arm, to even confuse you or give you a guilt trip. We believe that Jesus and the gospel and grace are so beautiful that people, if they experience them, would want to follow Jesus. We exist to invite people to journey with Jesus because at the end of the day, at RCC, we are about people. People are people, and people are not projects. And because people are messy. And so we understand and we realize that, and it's our heart and our desire to walk alongside of you no matter what happens. In this mission statement, we've said we exist to invite people, but what? To what? To journey with Jesus. We believe that faith is a journey. And if your life is going really well right now, that's great. But we know that maybe right around the corner, you could have a difficult season. Or if you're in a difficult season, we know that right around the corner, you may enter a good season. We know that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. But our journey is not. Our journey has high peaks and really low valleys. And no matter where you're at on your journey, if you're at a high peak or you're in, the darkest of dark valleys, we desire to walk alongside you in your journey. Now, this next word might seem so simple and so small, but it's so powerful, right? We exist to invite people to journey with Jesus. I don't know about you, but it took me a really long time to understand this idea. Jesus wants us to do life with him, not for him. In other words, maybe you've had my mindset about God when I was growing up, that I have to do the right things for God to still want to love me, for God to want to forgive me. And I've met a lot of Christians that view God that way. That if I'm not doing the right things long enough or often enough, then God's going to remove his protection, his love, and his grace away from me. But the gospel says, the good news is that God judges us not based on our life, but on his son Jesus' life. And we believe at RCC that Jesus is both God and human. And because of that, Jesus' sacrifice on the cross is enough to cover our sin. And when he raised again 3 days later, we too have that promise of spending eternity with him. And that's such a beautiful, breathtaking, anxiety relieving statement, right? That Jesus wants us to do life with him, not for him, in the sense of, hey, Jesus, look at everything that I've done for you. Don't you love me now? Jesus' love for us is based on who we are, not what we do actually for him. And the final word, maybe you might think is the most important, is that we exist to invite people to journey with Jesus. We're all about Jesus here at RCC. We're not about religion or protecting people's sacred cows or religious codes. We really want to know, who is Jesus in his first century context? What was he actually talking about? And if that means we need to be offended or be encouraged or rearrange our thoughts or our lives, we're willing to do that because we trust in Jesus' leadership and his guidance of his church. We exist to invite people to journey with Jesus, and we will do our best to keep Jesus in front of you. Now, what I'd like to talk about is our discipleship pathway. We are a church that values a pathway over programs. In other words, we want to invite you in the journey to a way of life. Now, we'll have programs at our church from time to time, but they will highlight, amplify, magnify our mission statement. And so to be a church of a pathway means we're inviting you into a way of life that is not constricted to a building on Sunday morning. And I want to talk about our 4 discipleship pathways that you can engage in. Before I do that, I want to share what I hope is an encouragement. Faith and discipleship is not linear. So many of us think that I became a Christian here, bad stuff happened here, and it knocked me back there. Right? Faith in Jesus and journeying with Jesus is not linear. It's actually circular, right? Where we think we're not moving very far, we're not making a lot of progress, but we are slowly because we're constantly journeying with Jesus in these concentric circles. Now, let me tell you what I mean. Our first discipleship pathway is that we would journey towards Jesus. And at RCC, we would define that as your desire to have faith conversations and to take your faith publicly in baptism. And we've got great ways for you to take next steps. If you're watching this and you've never been baptized or you want to have a faith conversation, we would simply encourage you to text the word towards to 62488, as well as all of our pathways to help you get on your journey with Jesus. So we ask people to journey towards Jesus because it's all about Jesus. But then the second discipleship pathway is that we ask people to journey with, and to journey with a group of friends, because we believe everyone needs a circle of friends to journey with. And so for us at RCC, that looks like joining a weekend serving team to get to know other people, to serve guests, and maybe in the way that you are a guest with us, but also to join a life group, to do life with other people. And a life group is simply a group of people, anywhere between 6 to 12 people that meet in a home once a week through the school calendar year. And if you're like, you know what, I really want to get to know some people, I want to join a serving team or a life group, we would encourage you to text the word with to our number 62488, and we'd love to get you set up on your journey in that way. Our third discipleship pathway is actually to journey out, that we would love where we live. We would redeem our community, but also explore our world. So if you're somebody that loves to serve people, you're tactile, you like using your hands, you love serving your community, this would be a pathway for you to step into. And just simply text the word out to our number 62488, and someone on our Journey Out team would love to follow up with you. We want to be a church that is for our community. We do not want to sit and wait and hope that our community comes to us. We want to go to them and love and serve them, as well as our ministry partners around the world. Our last value is to simply to journey inward. And this is a new value for us here at Rockingham Christian Church. The journey inward is a journey of spiritual direction and spiritual formation. Now, if this is of interest to you, you can text the word inward to our number 62488. It is a journey of God's Spirit shaping us and molding us into the likeness of Christ. And so, how do I know if I want to do that? Well, if you find yourself constantly busy and you're moving at the pace of your own ambition and not the Spirit, if you find yourself easily angered or anxious or worried, and you want to spend time with God, you want to read his word, but it just seems like it just keeps getting pushed off and off and off. The Journey Inward is a great place for you to begin your journey with Jesus. And at RCC, we say that you can step into any of those pathways whenever you want. And that's the beauty of faith, that it's circular. It's not linear. It's not like you have to do this before you can do that. You can do any of them, all of them, or none of them, all at the same time. But the point is that you at least step into one of them as you begin your journey here at RCC. In closing, I would like to talk about our core values here as a church. We talked about our mission statement. We talked about our pathway, which is how we're going to accomplish our mission statement. But I simply want to talk about our values, like what makes the people of RCC the people of RCC? What kind of culture and vibe do we want to set here at our church? And I want to talk about our 5 values. And the first one is this. We have the value of grit. We want to be a gritty church. And by that, we simply mean we do whatever it takes to help our friends begin their journey with Jesus, right? More than what's going on in the world, more than folks' opinion about politics, cultural issues, events, we want to do whatever it takes to help our friends begin or deepen their journey with Jesus, something that has meant so much to us. We want other people to experience that same journey as well. Our second value is generosity. We believe that generosity tells better stories. And when we are generous, not only with our finances, but with our lives, more doors open up, more possibilities open up for us individually, but also as a church. When we say yes to generosity, we are saying yes to God's future that he has for us as a church. Thirdly, we have the value of vibrancy. We want to be a vibrant church. And when we say vibrancy, we simply mean we love celebrating and anticipating when our friends and our family take next steps. It's almost exists that we believe that every Sunday is somebody's first Sunday. And if it's somebody's first Sunday, it's the potential and possibility that that person, that family, can begin a thriving, vibrant relationship with Jesus. Fourthly, we desire to be a relational church because we believe that being with people is the journey. We love corporate worship on Sunday mornings, but you also need to know that when you're having coffee with a friend or lunch with a coworker, you are the most important person to that person in the entire world. It's as if all of heaven is leaning into that conversation, anticipating that you would invite them to journey with Jesus. We love the weekend worship services, but we also know that our mission statement goes beyond our walls, and we want to be people that are people, that are relational, that whether it's at Target or church or at school, every opportunity, every relationship that we get to have is an opportunity to invite someone to begin or deepen their relationship with Jesus. Our fifth and final value, friends, is dependency. And by dependency, we mean that who we are becoming is more important than what we're doing. And that seems like such a stark contrast to the culture we find ourselves in. We get promotions and accolades and standing ovations when we get good grades or do a good job at work or maybe do something nice for somebody, even in our own family. And yet the gospel is antithetical to that idea. Jesus is saying, I care about your life and your season right now. I care about what it's doing to you and who you're becoming out of it and because of it. And we need to value dependency, to lean into God's Spirit, to lean into Jesus and to God's Word. We hope that this video gave you a snapshot about the kind of church we want to be, the kind of church we're hoping for and praying for in the future. If you have any questions about our church, you want to explore more of what I shared, please email us at info@rccsalem.com or text any next step to the number provided for you on your screen. We can't wait to see you, and we can't wait to help you begin your journey with Jesus here at RCC.